What up, YouTube? It's Rob Monty here. Live in my garage. As you can see, it's a mess. I'm partially putting some stuff away here. Doing a little bit by little bit. You know, me and my older brother have been working on this. He's been doing majority of the work though, but we are cleaning up my garage so don't mind it. Alright, so what's on today's agenda? Wrestling news. Alright, I originally did record a video earlier today for wrestling news. However, I decided to scratch it, because for one, there's been more news that I haven't gotten to cover yet. And two, I just ended up watching Dark Side of the Ring for Owen Hart's episode, the Owen Hart story, and originally I had said something, but now my kind of point of view has changed about it. But here's what I'm gonna say it is for. First and foremost, our news today is gonna be talking about. We're just gonna have 3 stories right now, just to talk about 3 stories. First story is about what's happened last week. Is Drew Gulak. As you guys know, Drew Gulak and WWE have parted ways. Then there's the ongoing story with Shad Gaspard right now. And there is the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring and Martha Hart's comments about the whole situation. First and foremost, let's just go right into that order. Actually, let's go with Drew Gulak first. As most of you guys know, this is the lighter news in wrestling right now. Is that Drew Gulak has been released by WWE, or in other words, they have come to terms to part ways. Big thing about this story is that Drew Gulak, his release and parting of ways with WWE comes as his contract expires, and during negotiation, guys, he was not unable successfully to renegotiate a contract with WWE at the moment, right now, but they're still in talks though. It's not a failure in what the sense, because they're just negotiating ideas and stuff, what to do if they sign him. They're still working things out. But as of right now, Drew Gulak is a free agent wrestler right now. And he is able to go to any promotion he chooses, or damn well pleases at this time, because he's not contracted by WWE no more. Is it possible he might become contracted again? Of course he could, because of the fact that they're renegotiating. As far as the 90-day non-compete clause, that is not in effect because his contract has expired. So he could probably show up on Dynamite this week and make an impact there. Or even better, Double or Nothing has that casino entry battle royal, and quite honestly, the final entrant of the casino ladder match, actually, my bad, the casino ladder match, is a mystery opponent. So there's a good chance Drew Gulak might show up at AEW. It's Double or Nothing. That is something like, how did you guys let that happen? That's a good question. But, WWE has been known to do something like that. For instance, Lex Luger is one of those prospects that actually ended up leaving WWE due to failure to renegotiate a contract. So Drew Gulak could end up anywhere. And my biggest rant about it is, man, Vince, you made him into pretty much a top mid-card guy already, because you had him team up with Daniel Bryan against Sami Zayn, and on top of that, you had him go one-on-one with Cesaro at WrestleMania. So, he's on fire in some word of the sense, and he could actually take that fire and cash in. That's what I'm saying. I hope, if they are in contract negotiations, I hope they find something good and for the best. If not, and the best thing to do at this time of his career is to part ways with the WWE. And, best of luck to Drew Gulak. Alright, I probably should have said words about this next topic, which is Shad Gaspard. First and foremost, I ask all my viewers, my audience, my subscribers, keep Shad Gaspard and his family in your thoughts and prayers. Mainly because Shad, him and his son went to the beach on Sunday, and they got caught up in a riptide current event. Well, a riptide, basically. If you don't know what a riptide is, folks, it's when basically there's a strong flow of water that comes from all over in the sea, and if you get caught in this riptide, you can get dragged out to sea, you can get drowned, all this. My mom, who happens to be who used to swim for high school, she told me that her coach would always tell her, don't swim against the riptide. If you're in a riptide current, you don't swim against it. You swim along with it and let it flow with you. Mainly because the riptide is a very strong current. I mean, people could get ripped to shreds. It's high pressure and all that. So what happened with Shad, if you guys don't know already, is that him and his family went out to the beach. Him and his son swam, I think, a little bit offshore, and got caught up in this riptide. There was a lot. It came in. Lifeguards and the Coast Guard had tried to get everybody out of the beach, out of the water, and Shad and his son were one of the people who were caught up. And his son, thank God, guys. I mean, by the grace of God, Shad's son was able to be rescued and is now safe with his mother. No critical injury or critical condition, so that's a good thing. However, Shad, who was the one instructing the Coast Guard to take his son before him, that's the kind of person Shad Gaspard is, folks. I mean, he puts others before himself, especially when it's people he cares about. Shad is a really good man, and by this story alone, he's a hero. Even if it's just to his own son, he's a hero. Unfortunately for Shad, he got pulled under by the riptide, and basically he had gone missing. That was Sunday evening or Sunday night afternoon, and they had started a search all night that night, and then they did it all day yesterday, Monday. I didn't report on it. Didn't do an episode yesterday just because I was doing some other stuff, such as the projects over here. But I was keeping an eye on this storyline. I mean, not the storyline, but what do you call this ongoing story, just to keep up with the updates. And it's not looking good, guys. Shad hasn't been returned. He hasn't been found. And as of last night, the Coast Guard had called off they suspended their search due to the fact that they weren't able to find him. And knowing the kind of situation and how long he's been out there in the water, he's probably they don't even expect him to find him alive right now. Family, I'm glad the family hasn't given up hope. Hasn't. So basically, they're still looking for Shad, and on top of that, the LAPD is still on the scene searching for Shad Gaspard. It doesn't look good, guys. It's actually very tragic and horrible. And the worst part about it is Shad could be in fact dead for all we know, and I'm just hoping that's not the case. And quite honestly, I send my prayers, my thoughts, and condolences to Shad Gaspard's family, both on the Gaspard and the Chittick side of the family. And it's not a good thing, and going on, and hopefully they'll find him. Hopefully, and there's a miracle that he's be able to return home safe. Also, a lot of people also brought up, well, WWE didn't mention it on Raw last night. What's up with that? Well, the fact of the matter is, people within WWE have been talking about it. I think Morrison talked about it, Kofi, MVP, even Ezekiel Jackson, who's not even part of the company, we're all basically informing everyone that the family right now is appreciating of your, you know, appreciating the support and the love that you guys are giving out to them. And the fact of the matter is, it's just they wish not to speak as much. Um, Mainly because they don't know. They don't know if he's alive or dead. I think a lot of people who have experienced riptide currents might already assume he's gone. That's just my honest opinion. But WWE superstars and everyone in the WWE universe has actually said something. And as of today, Vince McMahon gave his thoughts, his opinions, and he's basically stated that he asks his fans all around the world to please keep your thoughts and prayers with Shad and his family at this time of this horrible incident. So there you guys go. I mean, and for a lot of people who are asking, why didn't they just post a tribute last night? Well, my honest opinion is I think they were trying to get the full story before they reported it or even brought it up, because they want to make sure they got the full story. And one of the things that the Wrestling Observer had actually gone on to say, like they said, well, one of the main reasons too is also because they were waiting to see if he died or not. And there's a good chance he might have. And if that's the case, they're probably more likely, if anything, they're going to probably acknowledge it if it's exactly that. Probably on NXT or SmackDown or Raw is the next week, for all we know. Shad has, even though that Shad has had some chaotic times with the WWE, he's been on very, very good terms with them, especially in the most recent years. I think the reason why I bring up chaotic is because I remember reading JTG's book and telling him, oh, Shad had a lot of heat with the freaking office at the time, because Shad would be, trying to stand up and do the right thing kind of deal, Oh, man. So, yeah, it's sad, guys. I don't know what else to say. Shad's wife has even mentioned it, and she's very, very thankful for your guys' support, and she's staying faithful and hopeful that he will return home. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. My thoughts and prayers are with her, and I really am hoping for the best and the miracle that he shows back up. Next, is the really greasy details. Oh man. Originally, while I was going to do this video, I really was going to I thought Martha Hart was really bitter about Owen's death. I could still see a chip on her shoulder for it, but it's like, when you watch Dark Side of the Ring tonight, guys, if you guys haven't watched it yet, watch it. You'll understand the full story of what happened. Quite honestly, I'm a fan of Owen Hart myself, and I cried when I found out. I cried for 2 days because I really liked watching Owen back in the day. I mean, even when he was going up against Stone Cold, and I was more of a Stone Cold fan than an Owen Hart fan. I mean, it truly sucks. And Martha went on a lot of things, and she shows anger to the company to this day because she holds them responsible for Owen's death. And it's not due to the fact that she's mad at them. She has stated that she's forgiven them all. I mean, she hopes that they're all doing well, that they're doing fine. There's still love and support from them. It's just she doesn't trust WWE as much as she used to. I think when you watch the Dark Side of the Ring on Owen Hart's story, you'll start to understand why she doesn't trust them. I mean, for one, she really believes it was negligent to why Owen, died, why his accident happened. She really believed it was negligence and that Vince was being a poor sport about it, And quite honestly, I can understand that. What she means by poor sport is the fact that, with Owen's death, when it all happened, guys, Vince just went on and continued the show. She wished that he didn't continue the show and just went on an investigation or something. Stop the show, send all the people home, and just investigated. And instead, Vince just continued the show like normal. That's why she didn't like it. She felt like Vince treated Owen like trash. Um, to be fair to Vince, I can understand him at this point saying, you know what, we gotta get this shit done with because this is what we committed to the audience and to the TV companies or even the pay-per-view companies. I know that's kind of a lame ass excuse, and we should have just ended the show that way. But the fact of the matter is, if you're in his shoes, you gotta think about the business first. I'm pretty sure Vince did think about Owen and was trying to get Owen out of the arena so he could get to a medical attention as soon as possible. And if you guys remember Jerry the King Lawler, when he came back to find out the update of what happened, he wasn't so keen of Owen's chances of survival. And King actually came out and says, "I think he's dead." That's what one of the guys on Dark Side of the Ring said today. I think it was D'Lo or Godfather who said it, because they said that Jerry came back and he says, "I think Owen died." And this is before they got Owen out of the arena. This is Jerry Lawler coming back to give an update to the gorilla position, and it's livid. And if you can look at JR and the first person of their whole entire broadcast team that actually noticed Owen had fallen was Jerry. Jerry actually did this to JR, as JR said. King gave him a little elbow and made him look up. And as soon as JR looked up, Owen was falling down into the ring. And just like in a quick flash, even the referee in that match, he said he felt something brush him, like it was like a little brush, like like a feather or something like that. But when he turned around, all he heard was a big thud. Turned around, Owen's on the ground, and I mean, it was not a very nice sight at all. I think it was probably even worse than what I probably could have imagined. I just saw this before you hear, "Oh yeah, he hit the turnbuckle before he died," or something like that, or he hit near the turnbuckle. But one of the things that I could tell you this: when Martha went to go to the corner with Brett to find Owen, they were bringing Owen home in the morgue, right? And she went to go see Owen for the first time. She just couldn't look. She cried. The only thing that actually comforted her in that sense was when she finally got there, because Brett had to bear hug her to get her to see Owen. Only Owen's hair was the only thing that could comfort her at that time. Everything else just was horrifying. So this is one of the reasons why she doesn't trust WWE to this day with Owen. No, this is not all of it. I mean, negligence and all this happened. I mean, it wasn't handled right in her eyes. I mean, you can't blame her for seeing that. Vince handled it poorly. In my opinion, I can understand where she's coming from. Yeah, I would. Normally, I would. I can understand Vince making his decision, though, too. So, and from what it sounded like, Vince didn't want to make that call to Martha either. I mean, he really felt so broken up, he couldn't even come to words to say what happened. That he actually had the person who was going to tell her that Owen died, which was going to be the medical staff. Vince really had a very hard time. I can honestly think that Vince probably had a hard time looking her in the eye. A lot of times they've interacted since. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I don't know if Martha has even stated that, but what happened after Owen's death was even more appalling from WWE in a sense, because they tried to sue her after she sued them for negligence. And quite honestly, I think Bret Hart went on he went on record today and saying, it's not necessarily exactly what happened, because you know there were so many. It's not exactly as accurate as it can be, but it's just basically what Marfa is saying. And one of the biggest thing is, I actually heard Jim Cornette before the pre-show, on a pre-interview. I think a lot of fans were asking. Basically, what he said was that it's not just that. I mean, Vince didn't sue her first, and she sued him. It's not who about sue who first. What really damaged the relationship with the WWE and Owens, with Marfa in general, and her family, and the Hart family for that matter, was the lawyers, because the lawyers were doing lawyer things, and they were trying to basically manipulate the situation, which Marfa believes Vince tried to manipulate the situation into where Vince was trying to basically find ways out of this thing and finding a settlement out of it. But here's the thing, they came up with a settlement anyway, though. But it doesn't bring justice in some ways. You want my honest opinion? I really believe that was all the lawyers, mostly. And then what even should be more shocking is that the Hart family also tried to get their hands in this case. What she said, Bret was very supportive throughout the whole entire trial until he realized he couldn't get any of Owen's footage. And that's why Bret went on today, because he was so upset that Marfa would say, "You said you think I only did that to help you so I can get Owen's footage? That's inaccurate." That's basically what Bret's saying. And he wishes not to comment on it any further, because it's kind of like, okay, now you're putting me in a bad light kind of deal. But there were members of the family who were trying to get, good with Vince, basically. You never know, guys. There might have been somebody in the family who was like, "Oh, can I get a better deal on my contract?" or some shit like that, or "Can I work out a contract?" You never know what was going on with them. It's never been talked about what the Hart family was trying to do around this. That to me is interesting. Is that, okay, we know Vince and Marfa are going back and forth in this lawsuit, where Vince is suing her, she's suing him, they're suing each other again, and they sue. It's a back and forth thing, and it's not like she's doing it out of any. She's not doing it to basically shit on Vince or out of hatred for Vince. She just wants him to be held responsible for what happened to Owen. That's about it. And just, I think in this case, Vince might have to make it up to her some way physically. I don't know. I'm not saying like fight or make love or anything like that. I'm just saying Vince is probably going to have to really, really just, have a heart to heart. And don't let any legal people get involved. That's my honest opinion. As far as the Hart family goes, in my opinion, it's like, my God, that is shocking that a lot of them were trying to benefit off of Owen's death and this trial. I mean, it's already, guys. And then on top of that, they were trying to benefit and trying to give Vince everything that Marfa had gotten to. My question is this: how much is that really reality, and how much is it the reality of the fact that maybe the lawyers and family members felt like maybe this is good, maybe that's good, maybe that won't make them see. What are the reasons for all of that in the lawsuit? I mean, the guy is dead. I think WWE would have been more than willing to pay the compensation for that what happened. I think they would have been more willing to take care of it. However, I mean, to see what's going on, I can understand WWE also trying to defend themselves, because it's like, we didn't know it was that bad. And here's the thing, I think even Oge said it best in Dark Side of the Ring. is that the guys who were supposed to be doing Owen's rigor for that whole entire spot that they were doing with him coming down from the rafters, he was very, he basically stated that that those guys shouldn't have done it because they weren't at the quality as they should have been. And this is why negligence is brought up anyway, because the gear, because what happened was after Owen's funeral, Martha went to go take a look at the whole entire scene of the crime, went to the police to find out what they had on file and documented. And what got her to believe that this was negligence in general was the fact that a lot of the equipment that they used for Owen to come down was at best peanuts. It was like peanuts, basically, what I'm saying. What I mean by peanuts, it's like the clip was designed for boats, but the clip is so small, it wouldn't take much for it to break on Owen. On top of that, it wouldn't have taken much to release Owen from his harness. In the fact, a lot of this was made for expenses and all this. A lot of the stuff there is all negligent stuff. And the thing that she talks about is how they tried to come in and ask her to get him to go back and get the size for the harness and the vest and the everything. And basically she made one complaint, and I guess those guys said, "Oh no, we got it," kind of deal. Like, I mean, I can understand where she would be like, "Is this negligence or is this murder?" kind of deal. That's where it crosses. That's where the black and the white cross hairs and becomes, oh my god, there's too much shades of gray here. What the fuck's going on? Kind of deal. So there's deeper questions to be answered, in my opinion. Deeper questions. Do I feel like a lot of this is getting blown out of proportion? Maybe. Do I feel as if Martha's wrong for doing this? No, she's not. She's trying to find out what exactly happened to her husband. And then on top of that, wants to make the people who were responsible for his death, let them know that, hey, we don't appreciate this. Basically. And she just wants, a repentance or something. I don't know. Like, I guess it's like a real deep and sincere apology, like a true meaningful one. And I'm pretty sure WWE has given many, but she can't trust him no more because of what happened. She just can't. The trust has been hurt so bad that she's even lost trust with the Hart family because of that, and it's really sad. And Oj actually, I remember what he said now. He said that the stuff that they made, they shouldn't have done it. I mean, just to make it less expensive. I don't think when he meant that was, it's like, because when she said like they were cutting back on a lot of the stuff, like what they were doing, and that it became so minimal, is that they were trying to cut back time of how Owen would get in the ring or enter in the ring, As far as Oj goes, I think maybe that's why he gets that word expensive from some, because it does, What the idea was that with this harness that they were going to use, he would have less time. It would give him much quicker time to get out. Like, he would get out of his vest and start walking to the ring, or be released as soon as he touched the ground. Yeah. Honestly, my final opinion of this is I blame Vince Russo, because it was Vince Russo's idea in the first place, and he was the one that pitched it to Owen, and he was the one that pitched it to Vince. So if there's anybody I'm going to blame at the end of the day for this, it's going to be Vince Russo. I'm sorry. I mean, and that's because Vince Russo has come out on numerous interviews, shoot interviews, podcasts, documentaries, talking about how he pitched the idea to Owen and thought it would be cool. And then he also goes like, well, if Owen wasn't cool, I would have been fine. Cool, whatever. I don't know if he's doing that to be the hero or he actually is just talking out his ass. But for Vince Russo to say that he was trying to make Owen cooler than what he already was, to me is fucking bullshit. So if there's anybody I blame in all this, it's Vince Russo. I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette knows this too, and I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette would probably want to strangle Russo even more to this day. I think, you know what? I want to hear Jim Cornette just talk about this. Just go on one fucking day to shoot. What the fuck were you thinking with when Vince Russo pitched this idea to Owen Hart and now this whole thing happened, you know? I just want to listen to just Cornette just go off. Because I know for a fact that he probably did. And quite honestly, guys, it's fact on that one. Russo was the one that came up with that idea. I don't know if anybody else can prove it's something else, but you know, all I've heard before was that Russo was the one that came up with the idea. Oh, let's use the riggers. Let's see Sting, the Blue Blazer, be like Sting and rappel from the rafters. It would be cool for Owen to do it. Make it more superhero-like and larger than life. I'm like, Owen was already larger than life. Owen was fucking hilarious in the ring. He was fucking great in the ring. He didn't need any of that shit. And that fucker decided that, oh, Owen should go in the harness and basically rappel from the ceiling. Make him look more superhero-like. What? To me, it don't make sense because Owen was just as good as Eddie Guerrero. Owen was just as good as Rey Mysterio, or even better, guys. A lot of the superhero antics, if you really wanted to make Superman out of Owen Hart, make him into a real superhero, he could have done it without the fucking rappel shit, you know? He could have done it all. But this motherfucker had to decide, oh, we're going to make Owen more cooler than what he should be. Which I'm like, when I heard that story for the first time, and I was really pissed off. This is why I don't blame WWE a whole 110%. I blame them for continuing the lawsuit, but I don't blame them for Owen's death. I blame Vince Russo. Because he's the one that came up with the idea. It was his whole plan, you know. That's just my honest opinion. And the fact that Dark Side of the Ring did not bring this up or bring this to light kind of bothers me on that part. That's why I'm saying, well, I guess you just want to beat up on WWE that much, so much. When you know for a fact, Russo has said shit on shit on shit every fucking day about this shit, you know? Why did you guys leave that out? I do not fucking know. Maybe you guys didn't like the fact of what the Brawl for All had to offer, I guess. I don't know. But when I look at Vince Russo, I totally blame him for that. Because he takes full responsibility and full credit for it. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys leave a like, subscribe, comment, give me your guys. Oh, and also guys, go to ProWrestlingTees.com. If you notice that they have a new Owen Hart T-shirt, and it's an official Owen Hart T-shirt, the first time in 20 years, and it is going to help the Owen Hart Foundation. That all the proceeds that is made through the Owen Hart T-shirts go to the Owen Hart Foundation, and it helps out Martha Hart, Oj, and all of them, you know. It helps that foundation give to charity to millions of other things, like people who need to go to school, or people who are having hard time being single mothers, you know. Basically, guys, it's a good cause. Go buy the shirt if you can. I'm already planning which one I am gonna buy, because I thought that was cool to see an Owen Hart T-shirt, you know, and especially in the design that they have, it's really freaking cool. As far as my thoughts on Martha, hey, I respect your wishes. If you don't want to see Owen in the Hall of Fame because you don't want the company inducting him because you feel like they're responsible, that's cool. That's fine. At least I know why. I mean, to me, that's the main thing. if I know somebody was not going to go in the Hall of Fame, I want to know the reason why. That's why I'm so content with Chris Benoit not going in the Hall of Fame, folks. And that's because he basically caused that to happen on his own, and he was a murderer at the end. And it's going to overshadow the Hall of Fame anyway, and overshadow him, his entire career. I hope Nancy goes in the Hall of Fame, though. I agree with David Benoit on that. As far as Owen goes, I mean, if he doesn't go in the Hall of Fame because Martha and the family wish not to put Owen in the Hall of Fame because they feel that WWE is responsible for his death and they don't want to let them have that privilege and honor, that's... I totally get it. I understand. I respect their wishes, you know. Alright, guys. Like I said, hit a like, subscribe, comment. Go buy the damn shirt, folks. I'm just saying, go buy that shirt. There's two of them. One with an actual Owen Hart picture and the other one with a design. So if you guys want to go buy that shirt, go get it. I mean, it's going to a good cause. Other than that, guys, y'all take care. Thank you for watching. God bless. Love y'all.